My junior year of college, my best friend and I were supposed to live with another girl that we were super close to, and then she decided to drop out right before school started, and we wanted to obviously get her out of our lease so that she wouldn't have to be paying all year. So we spoke to the landlord, and the only way that we could get her out of our lease is if my best friend and I agreed to live in a 5-bedroom with 3 strangers, and she said she would lower the rent a little bit for us, so it was kind of like now a deal because then she could use the 3-bedroom for other people and just move things around. Clearly, it's not super duper ideal to live with 3 strangers, but we want our friend to be able to leave Michigan and not have to pay. So we're like, fine, we'll do it. Worst case scenario, it's a good story. And oh, is it a good story? 2 days before we move in, we get the names and phone numbers of our other 3 roommates, and we make a group chat just like introducing ourselves. It's 2 guys and a girl, and everything seems fine. I mean, our intention with this living situation is just to get through it. Like, we don't need to be best friends with these people, but we want it to be civil, and if we do end up making friends with them, awesome, but it's not like a requirement. The apartment is giant, and everyone had their own bathroom except for my best friend and I shared one, so it's also going to be pretty easy just to stay out of each other's ways and like have a civil living situation. The girl, who we'll call Amy, and one of the guys, who we'll call Brad, had gotten there a day early, and we eventually had to almost get a restraining order against Brad, but they had actually already hooked up on the first day before we got there, which we later found out. They also don't know each other. The only people who know each other are me and Allie, my best friend. So the day before we move in, the girl, I think I called her Amy, texts in our group chat and she's like, "Hey guys, would you mind if I painted all the walls in our apartment black?" And we're like, "Hey Amy, we don't really think that's a good idea. Like, we'll be liable for hiring a professional to completely paint it back, and like we don't even know if we'll be able to do that, and like we don't really think that's a good idea. Like, we'd rather just keep the walls how they are." And she starts like arguing with us, and she's like, "No, I want to paint the walls black. Like, we're painting the walls black." And we're like, "Hey, like, again, like, this is a shared space. Like, we think that we should just keep the walls in our kitchen not black." And she's like, "Are you sure, guys? Like, I really want to paint the walls black." So we don't know how to stop her. So we're like, let's just decide when we get there and meet each other in person. Like, no need to make any choices right now. Selena Gomez, my Rare Beauty new blush just came like this. Can I have a new one? It's all over the ground. So anyway, the day comes where we're moving in. We're literally boarding our flight to go to Detroit, Michigan. And on Instagram story, this girl who we're living with is quite literally painting the walls black, even though we asked her not to. Unfortunately, then she kind of attacked one of our guy friends, and then she got very violent and screamed at all of us, and it was very scary. She was clearly going through something. She moved out into a single, and then we almost had to get a restraining order. So ultimately, it was a crazy